We got the wing on now, looking mean. What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Mini Mill Fab. This is part 2 of our custom go-kart build. I already started things off a little bit here. I'm taking the tires off the front and rear rims. We're gonna sand them down and repaint them to make them look better. I didn't even realize the rears were 2-piece rims, which sucks because we didn't want 2-piece, but it is what it is. So I guess we'll be running tubes again. I don't know. Hopefully the tubes fit in our new tires because they're smaller than these. Because we got new tires as well. But I finally got these debeated. These were not easy to get separated. It took me hours. It was ridiculous. So I sure hope the fronts are much easier. I'm gonna make Russell do them. Because that killed me doing those two right there alone. So I'm just gonna start sanding them and painting them and wait for him to get here so he can do the front ones. I got one fully sanded down, looking good. As much of the rust off I could get off as I could. So now I just wiped it down. Now I'm just gonna let it off gas, and then we'll be ready for primer. So now I got 3 more sides to go, and then we'll have the 2 sets for the back. All I'm doing to sand these drums here is I'm hitting them with this palm sander here, some of these pads here, and then the rest is just hand sanding. Anything I can't hit with that, just hand sand it the best I can, and then get it going. What I got left on this one is the outside here and then this lip here, and then this will be ready to be wiped down with brake clean, and then set the off gas for the other one, and then by the time I'm done all of them, they'll be ready to be primed. Russell's here. He got the front wheels off and the tires off. He cleaned up the insides with the wire wheels.
Yeah, hit the inside with the wire wheel, and now I'm just cleaning off the inside. I'm gonna hand sand the
barrels.
Yeah. Just because like the paint that's on it isn't terrible. The inside was just all rusty, so I cleaned that off. But this we can go on top of if I just sand it, so we can have it bond to the old stuff.
Exactly. And I got the old ones for the back, like the black ones. I stripped as best as I could, and they're all clean and ready for primer. So I'm gonna get a piece of wood or something and take them outside and hit them with some primer. We just got the color on for the rims. It looks incredible. Looks so good.
Imagine that accenting the whole cart.
Yup, and the rest is gonna be black.
The whole color of it, but yeah, the rest will be black and it'll look so nice.
Yeah, this is gonna look amazing. I got the rims all painted and clear coated. They're drying now. They look incredible.
So on these rims, we ended up getting valve stems for them. So we're deleting the tubes. They were too big for these wheels anyways, and they weren't that great.
Yep.
So we got valve stems in. I have to drill out this side yet. It is slightly too large to fit through that.
Yeah.
We'd have to have like something pulling on it super hard, and we'd likely break it in the process. But
the rim paint came out good, so the valve stem came out good. So they'll be sweet. We'll get the tires on. I got one tire on the go-kart on the back already, on the tube side here. It looks amazing. Look at that. Looks so good. Ready to rock. Looks way better now. Oh yeah, that's fine. Dude, the one you did there was nice.
I know, it's tricky though.
Yeah, I know it is. Try it again. We have black marks on the ground. Yeah. gearing everything. See, look how small it is for He's like a giant. Dude, it literally just spins the entire time.
Yeah.
Even when it's accelerating, it still spins. We put the juggernaut back on, because now with the new gearing, it turns up way harder, way faster. It's insane. I convinced Russell to try to jump it off our jump. So let's see what happens here. Dude, that was awesome! Yo, that was good! That worked better than I thought! Yeah! Dude, he jumped so good! That was awesome! Dude, it jumped so good! Yeah! That was solid! I'm working on the go-kart here. Russell's working on the three-wheeler over there. But we decided we're gonna add a wing to this thing. Because why not? See what it looks like. We have this thing here, so we're thinking something like up here like this. Back behind the engine or something. Might look pretty sweet. So I'm gonna cut 2 pipes to weld in for the uprights right there. And tack them in place and see what I think.
Tricky.
Yeah, you gotta try and get them lined up. Russell's gonna get them lined up. I'm gonna tack them in place. What do you think? All right, so we got it tacked on. It's looking sick. We're gonna trim that side and move it backwards and up a tiny bit to even it out a little bit, 'cause it's a little bit crooked, but dude, the concept's coming out good. We got the wing welded on, looking good. We're still gonna, we're gonna cut off, we gotta figure out how much we wanna cut off of this now. We gotta figure out how far out we want our side plates to stick for the sides, and then we're gonna fill the whole center in with expanded sheet metal, and we're gonna weld that in. I'll get a piece of that cut for my shop tomorrow, and that will look sweet. But dude, I love the way the wing looks. It looks awesome on the back of there. Turns out our jag shaft wasn't bent, it's just misaligned, so we just gotta realign it. So we're greasing the bearings and cleaning the chain and shaft and everything. We're gonna put it all back together. And we got the wing on now, looking mean. That looks so good.
It's gonna look even better in blue.
Yeah, once it stands out and it's blue. And with the expanded sheet metal in it. But even without the expanded sheet, it doesn't look bad at all. Dude, the front camber with the wing, it really brings it together. Over the engine, it looks sick. So Russell is working on the rest of the wing here.
I just got it all wire wheeled, and when I was doing that, it showed all the thinnest parts of it. So
Yeah, so he's gonna weld up the holes here.
yeah, filling all these in.
And then we're gonna weld our expanded sheet metal in.
Yeah, just to finish this up, and I'll be ready for primer.
Yup.
At least the wing will be.
Yup, and I'm working on coming up with a front splitter for this thing, because I think that would be sweet, having a front splitter on this thing. So I'm gonna use this and see what I come up with. We got our chain back on, everything's all straightened out now. Looking good, retensioned. And I stiffened the spring in this pulley here, so it should give us more low-end torque now before engaging into high-end gear. So it should be even torqueier now, so that'll be good. Turn up even harder. Russell's working on welding up the wing there. Looking amazing. Look at that. That looks cool. I'm working on our front splitter here. I got this design coming up, something like this so far. And then the that expanded sheet's gonna go in the corners here on each side. And we're gonna obviously have some more flat that will go down like this and overhang on both sides. But yeah, I think it will look cool, and then it'll be unboltable. So we'll see how it comes out. If I don't like it, we can just take it off and cut the tabs off. It's not the end of the world.
Alright, well, I finished welding in all the expanded sheet metal. That was a little tedious, but I think it looks good. I got all the edges in. Now I'm just bolting it back up.
It looks awesome.
It does. It looks amazing.
And I'm working on the front splitter here. I gotta tack this guy in now, next. Right here like this. And then I gotta come up with our system that's gonna go right here on both sides. And then if we like it, we'll keep it and weld it up. If not, then we'll just take it off. But I think we're gonna like it. It's looking pretty good.
It is. It is.
Cover. 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 Okay. There we go. More solid. Sweet. So we got our splitter on. Looks sick.
Now we're just doing our final.
We're doing our front middle skid plate now. So Russell's got that out. We're doing expanded sheet. That's gonna get welded in just like that on the underside there. It should look good. Yeah. I just pulled this thing around back. Ripped it around the garage once. This thing is insane. One word for this thing. Dialed. It is absolutely perfect. Like, the carb is tuned beautifully now. It runs amazing. It makes so much power. The torque is absolutely nuts on this thing. Like, if you're not in the stones or like you're on the blacktop, you'll floor it from a dig. It'll chirp, it'll spin the tires for a second or two, and then it hooks and it just pulls like a freaking freight train. It's insane how fast this thing is, and it looks so cool. I think this thing came out amazing. Can't wait to get paint on it. That'll be coming up pretty soon. We'll be doing that next week probably. So we just gotta weld the frame still, the underside, because none of the bottom is welded yet. Only the top. So we gotta do that. So that way this thing doesn't break.
Just put fresh oil in it, and now I'm giving it a bit of a rip. Thing turns up like it's nothing. They spun it once, and now it's not sounding too good with the chain. What was that noise?
What?
What was that noise?
I don't know. I think it's the drag down bearings, maybe.
Ew, that sounds terrible. Sounds like we need to line the chain or something. still moves. Getting a little dirty.
Well, turns out we shattered our jag shaft bearing. So, yeah, that's not great. We're gonna have to get a new one of those. I was like, what is that noise? Chains like chunking and stuff. Freaking brakes were like squeaking. Freaking jag shaft got play in it now. Torque converter wasn't hooking up like it should be. I was like, what in the world's going on here?
It's still pretty quick.
Oh, it's very quick. But, yeah, we're gonna need to do that repair now. That sucks. I just pulled the wheels back off and the jag shaft apart. We completely destroyed the entire inner race. All the balls are just gone. That is not good. This is gonna be a tricky thing to get out now too. That is not gonna be fun at all. I knocked out this axle bearing over here. This really long solid rod that we have. Stuck it through and just banged up and down, back and forth all the way around the bearing. I got both jag shaft bearings out too. That one came out easy. I used the rod did the same thing. This side, a little bit more tricky. I had to use the torch. I had to heat around this housing here to get it nice and hot, so that way it expanded. And then I used the screwdriver and stuck it in behind the bearing and just twisted and worked my way around, twist, and kept twisting the screwdriver until I could get it to turn 90 degrees, and then it just went boop and popped right out. Now the hard part is getting the inner race off this shaft because it got so freaking hot, it like welded itself here. So I gotta try to heat it again to expand it and then hit it off with a hammer, and then probably have to like sand the shaft down a couple thousandths just to make the new bearing slide on nice. We'll see. I'm gonna try to get that off now. We got 2 new bearings, looking good right here. The other 2 are on the workbench. These things spin way better. So now we're gonna install only 2 for now because I want to put pipes for the insides of these bearings for in between them, so that way you can crank down as tight as you want on the bearings, and no matter how tight you crank, you won't crush this middle piece against one side of the bearing because there'll be a pipe in the center keeping it an even distance at all times, so that way the bearing will spin freely no matter how tightly you make it. So we're gonna do that because that is what this is missing. That's why it keeps coming apart and we are having all these issues. But once we do that, we should solve all those issues and it should be a lot better. So I'm gonna install 1 bearing in this side here on the drag shaft and 1 bearing this side of the axle, and then we'll be able to measure our pipe length. When it comes to installing your bearings, if you're hammering the center of the bearing onto something, you want to hammer on this inner part here, not the outer part. But if you're hammering the outer part into something, you want to hammer on the outer part of the bearing here, not the inner part. Because if you hammer on the opposite side, you'll break the bearing or damage it, make its life a lot shorter than what it should be. So don't do that. Make sure you hammer on the correct side, depending on what you're installing it onto. Since I am putting it into something, I'm hammering on the outside. So I have a really big socket right here that just fits around the outside of the bearing. And I'm using this to hammer on the outside of the bearing only, just like that. So we're gonna install this one. We got the first side of the drag shaft in, looking good. So we'll keep on going. Went in nicely. I'm greasing up the outside so they don't get seized or stuck in there again and get rusted in there, so can't hurt. Helps it go in nicer too. The axle bearings in and the drag shaft bearings in. I didn't have any pipe to use as a spacer for the axle, but I did have one for the drag shaft. It's a little tight right now because the pipe I put in the middle there barely fits, so it rubs the sidewalls a tiny bit, so it's like kind of hard to turn. But once you give it some beans and floor it for a bit, it'll loosen up and be perfect. So that is good. Now these we got them cranked down good, so they shouldn't come loose anymore, and the drag shaft will stay nice and tight, and the bearings shouldn't have all the tension on them. So yeah, it should be good. And now we just got to put our wheels back on, hook up our chain, tighten our axle nuts down, and let it rip. See what happens. We just painted up the wing. It looks incredible. So now we're letting that dry up overnight, and then we'll put it on the go-kart tomorrow. We also have the front splitter drying out there. So
hopefully we'll be able to test it in some sunlight tomorrow.
Yeah.
Decent. I'm ready.
Yeah. We are going to test out the bearings now with the jag shaft and see how it is. We got it all tightened down, looking good. The wings on, nice and painted. Front splitter's on, nice and painted. They're looking incredible. So now Russell's gonna give it a shot and do some pulls and some launches and maybe a little drifting here and there and stuff and see how it does. Russell's ripping it around. Feeling out the bearings and steering and everything. Coming in hot. Thing was freaking mean.
The learning trip's a little sketchy when you're going top speed.
Yeah?
I'm not going top speed yet.
Nah, you're not close. It's fast. Got a lot of balls for what it is. Thing's so awesome. There you go.
Love it.
Yeah. The bearings are nice, aren't they? It's way better. It needed the new ones. Yeah. Woo! He almost just hit the curb. That one he got some drifting in. Yeah! He's getting close to the curve though. One of these times, bro, I swear it's gonna get hit. Well, we got the new brakes in. We're gonna be running this master cylinder here, the short 1 foot line, and this nice caliper right here, dual piston. So that'll be nice for the back over here on the go-kart. So I removed the seat already, but I'm gonna disassemble this brake system here, and we'll probably have to end up cutting both these brackets off and making new ones for it, but not the end of the world. They're quick and easy to cut off and then make. So we'll do that. Might have to pull the chain off as well with this guy here, just to make sure it is lined up good and I can cut it off nicely without messing up a brake rotor. We will be getting a new brake rotor for this thing though, because that one's a little bit warped and bent and thin, so we'll be upgrading that as well. I got it all put together, it's all bled, there's fluid. We got our brackets made here, bolted on. There's one, there's two, and then here's our gusset right here. Now we're gonna install it on the cart, because I cut off the old ones. So now we got a fresh start right here. We're gonna use the same lever again, because that thing works beautifully. So we'll get cracking, tack it in place, get it lined up, and it'll be good. Russell's welding in our reinforcements for our brake bracket here. We got it tacked in, welded up, looking good. We got our master cylinder mounted and welded on as well. That's underneath Russell's jacket right down in here. Looking mint. We just gotta bleed the brakes a little more after we get it fully welded up. Got the brakes all bled, everything's all on, master cylinder, brake line, everything all works. Chains back on, putting the seat on, then we're gonna take it for a test. And now, once we know it works good, we can fully strip this thing down and get it ready for paint and start painting this thing. Russell's about to give it a test. We're gonna do some top speed pulls, some flybys, see how it does with the new bearings. And the new brakes. It's getting a little squirrely right there.
Oh, a little tight. There's definitely something chunking or something. Just picks up and goes.
So now that we know that everything works perfect on the go-kart, we're starting to disassemble everything. So pulling the engine off, torque converter, everything's coming off, brakes, all of it. Full thing's coming back apart, and then we're gonna sand everything down. We got the engine pulled, seats off, jag shaft coming apart. I'm gonna take off the splitter and the wing next, and the steering And then we'll have to do the brake and gas pedal and the linkage for that.
Give it a bit of a degreasing and take the wing off. And then we'll get into wire wheeling it. And
Yeah.
sanding.
Got the welder out because we got to weld the whole bottom side of the frame still.
That too.
And then, yeah, sanding everything down, rounding everything over, making it look good, getting rid of all the rust, all that fun stuff. So the whole go-kart is basically sitting right here, there. There's the frame, and there's our seat and our splitter and wing. Look at this sprocket though. It's like a saw blade on this thing. We could use a new sprocket, but
some things on these we definitely finished off.
yeah.
A lot of this stuff was used parts.
We broke another bearing to the jag shaft, so we have to get another new bearing because this one overheated, shattered because the brake rotor bolt ran into it and because it came loose. So gotta get a new brake rotor bolt as well. But this is all going for sandblasting tomorrow. We're gonna remove the rear tires so we can get new ones, and we're gonna blast and paint the rims again too. And yeah, start welding up the frame now. We got it fully disassembled, so now we can start welding it and making it all one solid piece. Oh, Russell got a bunch of the frame welded up. We're not fully done though, so we're gonna come back tomorrow. It's getting late. So we're just gonna leave it like this. We got, at least it's fully disassembled. The sandblasting stuff can get sandblasted tomorrow at my shop. And then we can start painting those things up while we clean the rest of the frame up and get this ready to paint.
Here's to show how strong our welds were on the top side, because there's a bunch of stuff that wasn't even like welded. There was huge gaps and stuff, but nothing was bent or out of place.
Yeah, nothing moved or shifted, even jumping the thing.
Yeah. But like this part of the tubing, I had the patch because like when we welded it in originally, it had a cut mark on it.
Yeah.
And then like down in here, over here, like over here, there's like gaps like that big, but nothing moved, nothing bent. So our top side was solid. Our shape and design, the shapes we used, the triangles and all that, like the frame is a really solid piece.
Yeah, it's pretty light too. One person can pick it up easily, even all put together.
Yeah.
We're painting up the parts. Looking good. Rims coming out nicely. There's only one coat on everything. So we're gonna let it dry and then we'll add another coat. And we'll flip it over. Paint the undersides. But yeah, it's coming along good. Well, we got it all painted up. It's all looking amazing. The wheels. Got a new steering wheel here. It's all coming out good. Russell's gonna keep welding up the rest of the frame, and then we're gonna start sanding it all down. We got a little bit to go still. One step at a time. This is the wire wheel down, looking good. The bottom one there. Got a lot to go though. We got the whole top side wire wheeled and sanded down. Looking incredible. We still have the underside to do, but we're wiping the top side down, and then tomorrow we're gonna do the other side. It's getting late, we're gonna call it quits for the night.
Well, the rest of the frame's all sanded and wire wheeled and cleaned off, degreased.
Yep.
It's time to hit it with some black.
Yeah, here we're paint. So it's a Rust-Oleum just regular gloss black paint and primer. That's what we chose for our base frame coat color, and it's gonna accent with the blue. So should look good. We're gonna start with the bottom of the frame, and then once this is done, we'll flip it over and do the top. Well, we got it first coat on. The bottom of this plate's acting weird with the paint. I don't know why. It doesn't like it in spots. So if it does on the top, I'll do something about it at the bottom. We don't really care about, you know, we just want it covered. But the rest of it's coming out amazing. We got the frame all painted black. So now it's gonna be time to add some clear coat to it. It's looking pretty shiny already, but the black will be much better once it's clear. All right, we have got everything painted, finally. Took a while because it's been really cold, but we got it. The go-kart frame looks pretty dang good. And all the blue parts came out amazing as well. We got brand new tires for the rear. Look at these meaty things. These should be mint. They're a little bit taller and a little bit wider. So that'll look good and stance it out, give it a little more top speed too. So now we're gonna start assembling everything. The first thing we're gonna install is the rear axle and the front wheels and the spindles. When you're assembling your steering component, you really want to grease everything. You gotta grease anything that's gonna be rubbing against something else. This is gonna rub on the top of the bearing and the bottom of the steering like housing, knuckle housing, or whatever you wanna call it. And the bolts are gonna be rubbing in there as well on the inside. So you wanna grease all of that so that way it reduces friction and wear. Front spindles are on, looking good. Next up, tie rod. The steering's fully on. It looks incredible. The blue with the black, it's coming along so nice. I love it. I'm working on getting the rear wheels on. They got the axle in, hubs are on. Gas and brake pedal are on. Oh my goodness, seating these beads and getting these rims together. These are the tightest beads I've ever felt. They are stiff. I had to bolt the rim together, and now I'm inflating to try to get the beads to go out, because I could literally only get to go like that far on to the actual, like, this deep side of the drum here. Same with that one. That one's at like 45 PSI right now, just slowly expanding, waiting for the bead to go all the way out. And now I'm working on this one. So we got more stuff installed. The wing and the splitter are on, and our torque converters together with our brakes. So next up, we're gonna hook up the chain so we can get our chain alignment correct, tighten down our torque converter, and then we can install our engine and align it with the back pulley of the torque converter. So that way everything will be nice and lined up and perfectly straight. So we're gonna get to doing that. And then after that, we can hook up our throttle cable and we can throw the seat on this thing.
Well, the go-kart's mostly reassembled again. The paint is looking really nice.
Yes, it does.
Getting the seat on right now. We put in our 196 stroke remover.
Yep, stroke the 212cc with shaved head, ported and polished, and then a stage 1 kit. It's got a 22 millimeter round slide car, 22-pound valve springs in it, and the exhaust. Stock cam, stock rod, stock flywheel. So it would make like probably around 8 or 9 horsepower like this, maybe 10 if we're lucky. But rev out a little bit higher than stock, but not too much higher that's gonna throw your cam or your rod or break your flywheel. So should be good. It'd be good, decent power engine for this thing. It won't break our bearings anymore. Won't break the jack shaft and all that stuff.
A little too far with the other one.
Yeah, pushed it a little bit hard with the other one, but it's coming out amazing. We have to drill new holes for our steering wheel and finish hooking up our kill switch. And then it'll be pretty much ready for a test. Well, it's all together. It looks incredible. The new tires on the back, all the blue accents, a new steering wheel. We got a nice kill switch on our steering wheel now. This go-kart could not have came out any better. We are so happy with the way everything turned out, and it performs absolutely amazing. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned to see crazy more builds like this that are just so cool and unique, one-of-a-kind stuff that you haven't seen before. We got tons of stuff planned for 2025. This is the last video we're gonna post for 2024 on YouTube. So we will see you in the new year. Have a blessed holidays, everyone, and God bless.